in a lot of parts of North India is that people will see me, assume that I'm from a city because of the way I'm dressed. And the next question is, par Allahabad matlab kya? And they're actually asking me for my caste.
Correct.
And I'm like, why should I tell you my caste? But for them, it's a very normalized
That's true.
question. And that's when you realize, oh shit, this is not even a village. This is Banaras. Like, this is, Shimla. Like, parts of India like that are still concerned with what your caste is. So you can't imagine what rural India is like.
Yeah. So there is discrimination. I totally get that, there are many, my name you can't tell what my caste is or anything like that. It's also a privilege, Ranveer, because you have not faced discrimination. It's not as if you've lived your life in a metro, but even in a metro, if you come from a different caste, from a caste which has faced discrimination, you would face it even in a metro. Maybe not to the extent that you would in a tier 2 town or a village, but it's very, very there.
Like what happens?
In school, it will happen.
Really?
Oh yes. It happens in subtle manners in cities because people know that they ought not to say it openly. But in tier 2 towns and all, it just comes very naturally. They will not. I have seen a very senior politician, I'm not going to name, but a very senior politician. I was covering the Rath Yatra and of Advani ji. And you kind of will figure out who I'm talking about, but I will not name. So the media sits and eats, right? So hum log sab saath mein baith rahe the. We were just about 5-6 of us covering that stretch of the Rath Yatra, and the food came in. And I saw this person who was not very senior at that time, and he was sitting separately. He was not sitting with us. He was just sitting alag se. So I just asked the person next to me, why is he sitting separately? Like, I thought he's angry with us or something like that. That's why he's sitting separately. Saying no, because the person sitting on your left is a Brahmin, and so that person is sitting separately because he thinks that maybe that guy will not like it that he's sitting with you.
Wow.
And I'm not sure that the person on the left was actually saying that or was practicing it or whatever, or has a reputation or not, or that person out of scene na ban jaye, was sitting separately. But he's obviously faced that kind of discrimination in the past, right? So he's faced it, and that's why he'd rather not have the embarrassment. Another place that I went to, I was an academic that I was interviewing, again regarding politics, but I was sitting there and talking, and like your guys came and gave me water, so they kept a banana and water. I was like, who keeps a banana, and kept tea. So I said, नहीं मैं चाय नहीं पीऊँगी, मैं चाय नहीं पीती हूँ. So he's saying, आप केला तो खा सकते हैं, केले में क्या है? So I was like, why? So then I said, okay, so just in case they feel that I'm not eating. So I peeled it and I ate it. And when I went out, my cameraman told me that he is from a low caste. He thought that you are upper caste and you're not drinking the tea. So that's why kela was kept, because kela you peel and eat and it doesn't matter which caste you are. I felt so terrible. I said, but I don't practice casteism. How did he know what my caste is? And so he said, they inherently know. So they, as a reflex mechanism, they kept that. I felt shitty at that time about my privilege, that generations of my people from my caste was somehow made this person who has, who's seen it maybe, or who knows it from experience.
This is the Desi version of white privilege.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it till I got to the workplace. I didn't face it. That is my privilege, that I didn't face atrocity. So it's not my fault that I didn't face it. So I can get aggressive and say कि मेरी क्या गलती है? मैंने थोड़ा ना कि मेरे पूर्वज ने किया होगा और वो भी नहीं मुझे पता मेरे पूर्वज ने किया कि नहीं किया. But the fact is that it takes generations for confidence to build in people who for generations have been subjugated. There was a Dalit village, and an upper caste village. There are certain places where Dalits were not allowed to, or even backward caste, not necessarily the most backward, Ati Dalit bhi nahi, but Dalit or even slightly above, they were not allowed to own land, only work as landless laborers. So maybe say they sent their daughter or son to study, वो IAS चला गया, वो he's become an IAS officer, she's become an IAS officer. Maybe through the quota system or whatever the system, but she's become, so there is some kind of money which is coming into that Dalit person's home because money order economy. That money is coming in. Makes a pakka house, but still is in that Dalit village. If he or she wanted to buy a plot of land, to cultivate that plot of land, it took a long time because that it wouldn't be registered. Now, by law, he can. By law, that farmer can go and buy land. But it never used to happen. They wouldn't, file gum jayega, something will happen. It comes as a shocker to you when you go to those areas, that you see that kind of abject poverty. So that was my first, and then I realized how insulated we are, living in cities sometimes. Even when you went to the villages, you went to your nani ghar, dadi ghar, that's about it, right? Or if you went tourism or something, you stuck in that hill station, or you went to a beach resort, you didn't really go and mingle with people. Same way Hindu Muslim, this is a Muslim gully, so the shops will be Muslim, Hindus won't be there, Hindu ki dukaan nahi hogi, agar Hindu area hai to Muslim ka nahi hoga. These are things which bother you. You want that in this day and age, a person like you doesn't want that the India 20 years from now should still have these.
These are the dark truths of rural India, even in 2023.
Yeah, and even in urban and semi-urban India, it is there. In tier 2 cities, it's still there. A Hindu-Muslim shadi is not all that common. And when it is, it's fraught with all kinds of dangers.
Dangers?
Yeah, because mobs come after you. They still run away. Even though there is a Special Marriages Act, there is provision that you can marry whoever you want to. In spite of that, it comes with dangers unless you're super affluent and it doesn't matter to you. I mean, a Bollywood actress marrying a Bollywood actor or a politician who two different religion, unko to koi farak nahi padega na. Unless you're that super rich or you're super successful and you have that kind of thing, nothing will happen to you. But otherwise, it is not easy still.